I'm speaking with James Maxey. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mostly, I want to talk about book promotion. I know you sell at cons in the hallway, and you also do other things for promotion. What do you think is your main method of generating book sales?
So, until the pandemic hit, I was going to science fiction and comic book conventions, doing between 20 and 30 a year. I would normally pay for a table in the dealer's room or the artist alley and just set up a display of all my books and just shell, call people over to my table and tell them about my books and make a good living from that.
Okay.
I used my dragon here. Was my spokes dragon, Burden.
Okay.
And he would draw people over the table, and I would give him my pitch, and it really was a very nice source of revenue. I was making more money from selling physical copies than I was making from selling ebooks. When I sell ebooks, the only time I can generate like thousands of sales is if I deeply discount the books. And so, I have to if I sell a book at 99 cents on Amazon, I might sell 100 copies in a day. But the royalty rate on that is just 35 cents. So 100 copies is just $35. Whereas I can sell, two of these big volumes, of these big omnibus volumes at $25 each, and my profit, is very close to $35. So the physical path, you can move fewer copies, but you can make more money.
Okay. Let me ask you. We talked a few weeks ago, and you mentioned that you had done book signings early in your career that they didn't really pan out very well. Can you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah. So if you're a beginning author or even just a mid-list author, I think it's really hard if you go to a Barnes and Noble. People don't just show up to hear a stranger talk, or you might have one or two people who show up because they're vaguely interested in the genre, but the rest of the people who show up are people you already know who've already bought the book. So my sisters would show up, or a friend from college would show up, so you might get 12 people that you're speaking to, but you relate it to six of them, friends with the other three. So you're really down to three people in that audience that you're trying to sell the book to. And two of them just showed up for the free refreshments.
Okay.
So the book signings in the bookstores, I never reached a level of my career where I got big enough to really sell well through them. That said, I did a joint signing with Orson Scott Card once, and he easily had 200 people come out to see him.
Okay.
So I sold books at that event, where I was there with him, because he had, I think, maybe 3 other authors come and take part in that event. He was very generous to share the wealth.
Okay. And I would worry if I were doing that, accompanying a big name author, that I'd be ignored. But you weren't completely ignored?
Oh, so no, yeah. So, Card, easily sign hundreds of books. I sold dozens of books, so there's just a little bit of a spillover. But the spillover for people who came to see him is still far greater than anything I would get from being able to draw myself.
Oh, okay.
So if you happen to have some connection to a big author, do it. Leverage it. Here, Card lives in Greensboro, and I lived in Greensboro, and I think that the Barnes and Noble was just like, well, we'll just get a lot of local authors in for this event, like local other science fiction authors. So I don't know if it's Card's idea to do it or the Barnes and Noble coordinator's idea to do it, but in general, my best events have been shared events where I team up with other genre authors, and we collectively can draw a decent crowd. And potentially sell a few more books than we would have on our own.
Okay. Let me ask you. I mean, many people are familiar with Amazon, the Kindle, the electronic books, but you
Right.
also have yours printed into physical form, to Solomon Hallways, for example.
Right.
Do you have Amazon do the printing for that?
Yes, because I started having CreateSpace do it. CreateSpace was located in South Carolina, where you're located.
Yeah.
You could probably have ordered books from CreateSpace and had them on your doorstep the next day without paying any rush shipping.
Okay.
That was my case for years of CreateSpace, because from South Carolina, a UPS shipment gets here the very next day, 2 days at most. And so I would order books on a Monday and have them sitting on my doorstep by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest, without paying for rush shipping. It was really kind of marvelous. But now Amazon bought CreateSpace, and covers that work for CreateSpace, covers that I've been printing for years and years, that work perfectly well. Now I'll do some update to a book, to the book interior. Like I'll have found a typo and I want to go ahead and fix that. And I'll re-upload the interior, and then they'll tell me that my cover is not to spec. And it'll be that I have to go in and the cover is off by like, 1/12 of an inch, on one edge. And, something that in the real world no one would ever see, and it's going to be cut off. Books have a bleed that gets cut off. And so CreateSpace, if you were within, 1/10 of an inch of their specs, they would just take your cover and run with it. But Amazon has this 3 digits out to the decimal point rule that drives me bonkers. Because the other thing is, you could download a calculator from them that will tell you what your cover size should be. You put in the number of pages, and the type of paper that you're using, and it will tell you your cover needs to be this big. And then you'll make the cover exactly that size, and when you upload it, it'll be like, this does not fit. This isn't compliant. You need to have your cover this big. It'll be, an extra 0.005, off on the width. That happens to me again and again. So yeah, then what you were saying about holding it for 8 days. Ever since Amazon took over CreateSpace, the 2 and 3 day turnaround I used to get is now a 2 or 3 week turnaround. It is very frustrating, and I don't know if they have that many more people printing, or if they're just going to delay because they can.